So let's get started. Once you've downloaded ArcMap, the main component of ArcGIS, go ahead and open up the application. If you don't have the icon on your desktop, then click on the Windows and type in Arc, and you should see these three things pop underneath programs. Go ahead and click ArcMap. Mine's 10.51. Yours will probably be 10.1. I just had to get a different version since I'm working at home. They're similar though, so no worries there. So once you open it up, you should have the program. It'll look like this. It'll start opening, and once it does, we'll go ahead and talk about the interface. Now mine's stuck because I've already got some existing maps. Yours won't. Yours will look like this. So once it starts, something that you really need to be aware of right now is where your default geodatabase is going. What a geodatabase is all the information that you're storing, your data, the attributes, layers, shape files, everything that goes into your map is saved here. Now you have to be really careful with where your files are being saved at, and I'll explain that a little bit more when we start working on an actual project. So go ahead and click OK. So let's get talking about the user interface. You have your menus up here, and it's similar to what your typical menu bar looks like. Now, we also have these icons here. The first row is your standard icons, and the second row is your toolbar icons. Now, you can move these toolbars around however you wish. When we're working with these and we're navigating and we're analyzing, you may find a workflow that you like. So in the future videos, I'll show you how I set up mine. You don't have to. Some people like floating toolbars. I personally don't, but it doesn't matter however you want your toolbars set up. You also have options of adding additional toolbars. There's a draw. There's Kogo. We'll be using editor, draw, graphics a little later in the semester. Go ahead and close those out. Now I'm going to show you, I'm going to go ahead and open up a drawing that I have some information in. Here's a project that I have. Now in this project I have data, but you can't see it. Right now all you can see is an image. You know, the aerial of, if you can recognize it, this is of Valencia. Okay, so this is where my base map information is. If I turn that off, then you see absolutely nothing. These are called our layers. This is where our information is, but when I turn that base map off, I've got nothing in here. Well, technically, I should have information in here. Remember what I said about where our data is. It's very important. If you see these little exclamation points, then you've got to go find where your data was pathed. So it's like when you're working at school on a flash drive and you're saving stuff to your flash drive and you get home and you try to open it up, it's not pathing the same point. So if you're working on your flash drive on drive M at school, and when you put it into your computer at home, it's maybe drive E. Well, everything's still pathed to where you originally started the drawing. So if you look at your layers, I'm going to go ahead and show you this now, and I'm going to show you this later because this is truly really important. If I right click on my layer, you have all of these shortcuts. So all I did was select and then right click. So I right clicked, and down here on data, it's called repair data source. Okay, so before I can even start modeling, I've got to get my drawing a previously map set up correctly. So I'm going to repair where my data. It says locate the layer's data source manually when ArcMap can't find it. That red exclamation point means ArcMap can't find it. So I'm going to click. Now here's another point. You have to understand where everything is pathed to. When you download your data from the disk that comes with the book, you're going to have to connect to that folder. There's all these connections that are previously made, but I have to connect to where the data was saved for my projects. Well, mine was saved on the C drive underneath Esri Press, and this is where your data will be saved to, because this is where the computer, unless you put it somewhere else. Under GTK, Getting to Know ArcGIS, if you path that down, here is where all of the exercise information in the book is where you're going to find. So this is project 6 that I've been working on, and it's been working through this database. So I'm just going to click on project 6. This is the folder I'm connecting to for this project specifically. All I have to do is go ahead and double click on that database, and I can find that source as my parcels, and I can add. Once I do that, notice all those exclamation points are gone. And now all my data, and I'm just scrolling toward me to zoom in. On the mouse, scroll away from you to zoom out. So I've got information out here for the benchmarks. If you've taken my survey class, these are the benchmarks that we located in survey. Now I can turn on or off the data. I can turn on or off this. I lost apparently my parcel information on this. Okay, it was originally connected, so I'll demonstrate how to reconnect that later. But let's take a look at our information. Okay, before I do that, let's take a look at the toolbars up here at the top. All right, I'm going to pause here. And we'll take a look. I'm going to pause here, and then we're going to just look at our toolbars before we start looking at our data.